There just wasn't enough time to talk about this great story here yesterday, but hey man, it's better late than never, right? It's kind of like with Biden never visiting East Palestine in Ohio, but we'll get to that in a second because he had more pressing issues to do. He needed to go down to Kiev with $500 million in tow to go stand with Ukraine. Yuck. Well, actually go stand on the dot while the air raid sirens went because he needed a good photo op, this inauthentic hack. Biden makes surprise visit to Ukraine. Surprise, man, I brought you some money. Pledges $500 million more aid. Great. Oh, has that money been taxed? No, I don't think so. President Joe Biden made an unannounced visit to Kiev, Ukraine on February 20th in a major show of support ahead of the first anniversary of Russia's invasion. Biden met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who said he and the United States president discussed the provision of long-range weapons for Kiev amid Ukraine's repeated urgent appeals for more military support. Yeah, we're gonna acquiesce to Ukraine, but my Ohio didn't vote for me, so yeah, it sucks to suck, I guess. U.S. President pledged an additional $500 million in aid, and vowed the United States would continue to stand by Ukraine in the conflict. Well, the United States government, I think the people themselves are kind of getting sick and tired of this nonsense. Shout out to the Ukrainian people. You guys don't deserve this type of leadership. Neither do the other people who are acting independent of the wills and desires of their own people. I don't know what's left for support for Ukraine at this point in time, but it's getting stressed because what are they? Are they about touching $20 billion in support so far? Support's a fancy term for money laundering. As the world prepares to mark the one-year anniversary of Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine. And I thought, they were just killing people all the time, and Ukraine's going to be winning any day now. They're killing like 1,000 people per day. Oh, I can't even say that with a straight face. You guys are losing, and if it wasn't for this inordinate amount of money and support, you would have already lost this proxy war a long time ago. And there is, apparently, in some reports that are out there, 500,000 to about 750,000 troops that are circling the northern border. Listen, man, Russia just wanted you to dump the Nazis, and it doesn't take that far to figure out how many are in there, because you see there's some videos, can't authenticate them or anything like that, so I can't really speak to them in totality. But there's some troops throwing up the old Roman hand salute to one another and praising a certain funny mustache man from Germany in the 1940s. That was one of Putin's desires. Get rid of your fascist element. I know it's going to be difficult, and I know you're just going to have to eventually rip off that Band-Aid. That would be great. And then also the Donbass region, cleaning that out because, there's quite a few ethnic Russians that are there, and they would like to join their homeland as well, because they voted for it again and again, and you don't want to adhere to democracy. Well, that's kind of true given the fact that Zelensky, nationalized the media and banned all opposition party. Oh, and then also excised the Ukrainian Orthodox Church because they could be Russian sympathizers. Who are the good guys in this situation? I'm just wondering. So yeah, back to what old stupid had to say here. As the world prepares to mark the one-year anniversary of Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine, I'm in Kiev today on President's Day. It's really nice. I like the girls with their blonde hair. To meet with President Zelensky to reaffirm our unwavering and unflagging commitment to Ukraine's democracy, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. But don't ask me any questions about the U.S. southern border. It's more of a dream, man. Biden said in a statement. Yeah, that's nice and wonderful and fantastic. They went and hugged and, like I said, stood on a dot outside of a church that, he's banned. But yeah. Oh, what, Joe's going to Poland? Well, Poland's going to tell him to get the fuck out. There's also been speculation ahead of Biden's trip to Kiev as to whether the U.S. president would pay a visit to Ukraine around the anniversary of Russia's invasion. Yeah, of course. Well, how about, being a world leader here for a second? Here's a big thing. If you're going to bother being over there instead of worrying about the problems that you have at home, why don't you try to work together like a peace deal or a negotiation? No, you're just trying to stoke tensions in order to obfuscate from your own failures at home, where Your predecessor is just big broing you because of your failures. Ohio train derailment. Y'all remember East Palestine. It's been under a cloud of chemical disaster. Seeing some unverifiable video that some of those chemicals are making their way across the northern border where some snow is starting to melt, and now you're starting to see a rainbow slick everywhere. This stuff isn't going away. That's why it's kind of funny to see none of those ecological protesters. We need to do something about the environment. Okay, East Palestine. They almost voted in double digits for Donald Trump, and they're all just basically racist, so they can basically die and just get untold types of chemical health-related issues later in life. We don't really care about those hillbillies. It's like, okay, you're just showing your true colors. It's just always been a grift, huh? Just this is the most clear-cut example of that being the case. Very interesting. But yeah, Joe ain't going. He's not going to go. He's got more important places to go. Eastern Europe. Right. So, that was on February 17th. Absolutely no plan to visit East Palestine. Just like there was absolutely no plan to visit the southern border. Joe went to what? El Paso, where they cleaned up all of the homeless people and put everybody in a camp for a second for him to walk around and go, oh, it's awfully nice and it's kind of hot. You guys want Mexican food? So yeah, he's legitimately not doing anything for the American people. And the audacity to do that on President's Day. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But what about one of the other living presidents, even though Jimmy Carter, who kind of Biden 1.0, if we're going to be completely honest, and when he eventually passes, I've had this idea for a video for a very long time, just waiting for enough of a presidency for a one-term president to just, go through the motions and then just do a compare and contrast. So eventually when Carter bites the dust, I might do that video because I had no love lost for the Jim Jones enabling Jimmy Carter. Fuck that guy. Yes, the other president, the former and hopefully future president, Trump to visit East Palestine after toxic train derailment. Hours, because when was that one? When was this article posted? 3:14 p.m. on February 17th, and this one was posted 6:12 on February 17th. So Trump is like, I'm just going to go down there next week. He's supposed to be there tomorrow. He was supposed to be there on Wednesday because, wow, check this. He actually cares about the American people. What's Ron DeSantis doing? Oh, he's going to run in 2024. He's like Trump without any of the baggage. No, he's going to go do some bootlicking event out in Staten Island or Long Island to go back the boys in blue. A multi-state tour. Bro, you're going to go stump. You're going to go simp for those police officers that made it illegal for anybody who didn't line up and get the jab. You're gonna go simp for those guys that just wouldn't allow you to go into your places of work. Oh, okay. Who were throwing people throwing people down on the ground, forcing masks on their faces. Those guys, you are also going to do a fundraiser for those same guys that were also protecting some street graffiti, Black Lives Matter right outside of Trump Tower. They all gleefully stood there at the ready to defend all of those ideological positions. You're going to go simp for them first and foremost. Neocon tendencies are definitely showing right there. But I guess, hey, if you have Jeb Bush stuff in your coffers to go and start off your tour that way, good on you, pal. Don't go to a place that could, hey man, even if you're just going to stay governor of Florida. I like Ron DeSantis, but stay in your fucking lane, bro. You have like-minded people in Ohio. You couldn't be bothered to go see him. Nikki Haley, she doesn't even know where Ohio is. She's just too busy trying to flaunt her identity politics cards. What a fucking disaster. But speaking of which, Trump is actually going to go down and check out the disaster. Former President Donald Trump will travel to East Palestine, Ohio next week. And they say that he doesn't like Palestine, that he's just, siding up too close to the Jews. See, he's actually going to go down there next week to visit the area and members of the community as they grapple with the aftermath of the train derailment that led to a large release of toxic chemicals. Fox News has learned. A source familiar with the president told Fox News that Trump plans to travel to East Palestine on Wednesday to meet with members of the community. Yeah, but there's nothing that the president could do halfway around the world. The source said Trump, who announced the 2024 presidential campaign, that he's still leading by just about double off of the closest challenger, the theoretical challenger. Like, it's not even close, bro. Like, just stay in your fucking lane. He has a strong relationship with the people of Ohio. 9.8 point victory. 9.8 point victory. And it's only growing from there. Trump plans visit comes after a train derailment on February 3rd. February 3rd. And the first time that anybody bothering to go down there, February 22nd. Make that fucking make sense. Or about 50 cars on on a Norfolk Southern Railroad train carrying vinyl chloride and a bunch of other terrible, disgusting chemicals. Tipped over because, well, infrastructure's ass down there, but I thought Joe was going to come back and he's going to build back better. By build back better, he means build back Ukrainian. Company opted to release the gas from the derailed cars, releasing potentially deadly fumes. Like, come on, don't you see that? And you just think that that's probably ecologically friendly. That'll be fine. Residents of East Palestine community have reported severe symptoms from toxins and chemicals, dead pets, dead farm animals. Like, it's tragic. It's terrible. After more than 2 weeks, the Biden administration on Friday announced it would deploy medical service personnel and toxicologists to East Palestine. Oh, when was that exactly? Oh, right after Trump said that he's going to be going up to East Palestine to go check that place out. And then it's like, no, we're actually not going to ignore what's going on there anymore. We're going to send FEMA down there. But it's funny. President doesn't want to go down there. Kamala's too busy, I don't know, just picking out drapes for the Oval Office. Like, who the fuck are you in this situation? Or, oh, I don't know, maybe the guy who's kind of in charge of the railroads, like Pete Buttigieg. Where's the Secretary of Transportation? He's not going down there to care about any of that stuff. That man has been a catastrophic disaster. Like, I know Biden gets all the shit, justifiably so. Kamala gets all the shit for just cackling and not doing anything. But the guy who has fucked up at every single damn turn, supply chain crisis, faking riding a bicycle, for Christ's sakes, taken, 9 months of paternity leave? I know, I'm just being hyperbolic for a second. During the supply chain crunch, like, he's terrible. He's fucked up every single crisis that has come across his desk. What was his first take on East Palestine? Oh, there's too many white railroad workers. Really? Have you gone down there to go check it out? No, we're just gonna send FEMA because I'm too gay to be in Ohio. Like, holy. But yo, man, the Biden administration sent federal emergency officials to the site of Ohio's toxic train derailment on Saturday, 2 weeks after the disaster. Yeah, EPA and Ohio EPA have been working together since day one. Governor Rhino Mike DeWine and Thomas Sivak, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, said in a statement late Friday, tomorrow FEMA will supplement federal efforts. About goddamn time. But all of this was only made possible because one guy decided to fucking care about this disaster that was happening down there. Shout out to the real president. Meanwhile, the other one's out there palling around with his butt buddy out there in Eastern Europe. They got some nice asses over there. Well, there's a couple of them on display. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.